Hello there, back again after 5 weeks off. 5 weeks of blissful being off, of marking essays, doing essays, marking exams, and all of that rubbish. But back we are now. The wife has fortunately headed back to America. Hopefully, I'll be heading back over there soon. I'll address that in this podcast anyway. I'll address that where I am and what I'm doing and how things are progressing. But yeah, in general, everything's good. Everything's good. I'm on a normal sleeping schedule, which is really, really, really weird. Going to bed at like 2, 3 in the morning, normal-ish. Normal for me. 2, 3-ish in the morning. Getting up at about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. So, that's weird. That feels strange. Normally, I would be asleep right now because I used to work. Generally, when my wife is in America, I work on American hours because I like to stay up to talk to her, and I don't want her to be. Tiredness affects her more than it affects me because, quite simply, my job, I can actually stay at home and do it. So I can actually mark essays here, I can mark exams here, I can give lessons on Zoom, things like that. So I don't really have much of a cause to say, hey, you need to adapt to my schedule. And eventually I'm going to move to the US anyway, so it sort of fits every box for me to just go on her schedule. She is 6 hours behind us in Chicago, so generally when it's 6 o'clock her time, it's midnight here, and I like to speak to her around when she's finished her dinner and all that. So it sort of melted into me staying up till about 6 in the morning, 5, 6 in the morning, then heading to bed. There's also that feeling as well. I don't know if anyone out there has ever been in a long distance relationship or anything like that, but there is definitely a feeling of you don't want to sleep when the other person's awake, if you know what I mean. It's like you're missing out on something. So like for me, for instance, sorry, I'm shutting my window. For instance, I'll think I should be speaking to her right now. I should be doing something with her right now, but I'm sleeping and I can't sleep. So it's very difficult. So I'm adapting to that slowly but surely. But it's getting better. Really, I'm happy with the way things are going. It's been an amazing 5 weeks. I've just had an amazing 5 weeks with her. We had a really nice place. The entire time together. She had to quarantine 2 weeks, of course. But we had a really good time for the 5 weeks, and she went back yesterday. And all in all, she got back safe and sound. So with me, as a lot of you know, I teach history and I teach creative writing and literacy, things like that. I also teach a little bit of English as a foreign language, not too much, it's boring. Obviously, I met my wife-to-be in university. We lost contact for a little while and got back into contact again. She's way out of my league. You will not believe, if any of you ever friend me on Facebook, you will not believe how out my league she is. And all in all, I will be moving to America as soon as COVID-19 fucks off, essentially. I missed getting to America straight away. I passed all of my exams to get into the American university that I'm currently at to do my masters. I passed all of my exams on March the 3rd, and we were in lockdown from March the 5th. So I literally missed it. I went to get an interview, and things like that. I literally missed the cut-off point by a couple of days. In fact, I don't think that's how it went. I think it was like I had to wait for 20 days for my results to come through, even though I knew I'd passed because I had the printout. But officially, the results haven't come through. So we had to wait for that, which sucked. But then when the results did get in, we missed it. We missed the cut-off point by like 2 days. Not even that, like a day. So it was ridiculous. But hey, such is life. And as what a lot of people have said to me, it's kind of maybe it's meant to happen that way. I normally resent people who say that. It really annoys me. People say, "Oh, it was meant to happen that way," But maybe it was, and that's the only way you can think about it because the entire situation has been maddening all the way through. hysteria, general rending of garments, crying, just the whole world grinding to a halt because at the start I was on board with it, and the more and more I've read, independently too. Like, I know I'm more right leaning. I'm not stupid, but I read left publications, and I read like the Mirror, for example, and things like that. I like to read across the spectrum of left and right because I want to form my own opinion. And normally, what I do, I'll read the extreme right and the extreme left. And when I say extreme right, extreme left, not communist, not Nazis. I mean, just short of that. I read the Little Englander, get out of my country, really conservative right. And I read everyone needs to have 19 genders and everyone needs to be treated equally, even though the left. And I read those, and then I formulate my own opinion somewhere in the middle, somewhere, or I'll come down on one side or the other. Mostly conservative. I'd say 7 out of 10. I would say I'm more right than left. So, the reading about the virus as it's going now is essentially. How do I even put this without people jumping? I'm just going to say it. I don't think we've done ourselves any favors by closing things off for this long. I don't. I think, and this isn't just me. I think in America, specifically, they're playing politics with the virus. In America, for instance, Lori Lightfoot, who is the mayor of Chicago, has been keeping things closed, has been keeping schools closed, keeping all things like that closed. When the CDC, like the Center of Disease Control, the guys who actually know what's going on, the guys who are actually working on the virus, have told her, hey, no, you can open up the schools, you can open up your jobs, it's fine, just wear face coverings. She's kept everything closed. That's because Democrats in America want to keep things closed because they want the crisis to seem as bad as it can, so they can blame it on Trump, because there is a November election coming up, and they need there to be a big crisis thing saying, look at him, he's not handling it very well. Trump wants everything open because he wants people to say, he's doing really well, his things all go back to work and there's up in a second spike. Look how well the economy's doing, right? So, as soon as the November elections come and go, you watch, whoever wins, Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter, they will open the country so quick, it'll make your head spin. Because all they are doing is playing politics with the virus. That's all they're doing. And, it's not, for everything that I've seen, it's not as bad as people are saying. Every single time you see it on the news, 7 people on this flight have coronavirus. Well, how do they have coronavirus? Do they have like mild symptoms, or are they symptomless? What? There was recently a publication out in the UK where on Sky News that said the government have admitted, and this was like 5 weeks ago now, 4 weeks ago, the government have admitted that our stats are so high in the UK because they're wrong. Because they're wrong. If you are in the UK and you have had coronavirus, and you get better, you then walk out of your home and you're hit by a truck, you've been killed by coronavirus. That is how we were equating stats. That's how we were correlating stats. That's how we were pulling in stats. That's ridiculous. And no one picked it up on it because it's better for everybody that everyone's in hysteria. It makes better news. It makes better, it's just ridiculous. And this thing, I have zero faith in humanity anymore, because not only is this a load of bollocks, but it's a load of bollocks that's basically put my life on hold for a year. So, fuck that, essentially. And, it's I'm going to try, and if there is any comments on this video, that's great, but I'm going to try and not get involved in discussions, because I've simply got too much to do. So feel free to talk amongst yourselves. I may pop in, now and again, to say my piece, but, is what it is. That's the virus. In terms of me, I could go and get, for the longest time, I couldn't go and get a visa because the visa office was closed due to the virus and everyone panicking. Now the visa office is open, I tried, when my wife was here, I tried to book a visa appointment. I got the visa appointment, great, I thought maybe I can follow her. If she goes back in 5 weeks, maybe I can go shortly after that. Only for my university to turn around and say, no, we're doing all remote courses only until the new year. Even though they've been told by the CDC that's not a problem, they can open everything up, they're staying closed anyway. And because all of my classes are online only, I can't get a visa, because my visa says you need to be at least 1 hour of face-to-face tuition every week. So all they needed to do was allow me to see one lecturer for 1 hour a week. They refused to do that, and so here I am. That is a democratic state, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the fucking nightmare that we are finding ourselves in at the moment. It seems to be one thing after another with this. It's getting so frustrating. Me and the missus, we've jumped through every hoop. We've done everything possible. We've bent over backwards to make sure that we've gone and passed. I've passed every exam. I've had 6 exams, 4 essays, and I'm killing, absolutely crushing my masters. I'm getting A's across the board. Across the board, every single module I'm getting A's. And they're still finding bullshit to stop the visa, stopping what we're owed. You know, we were owed this, you know. So that's just how things are at the moment, and we're hoping that. Well, we've been told by several representatives that we know that in November, after the election, things will open up extremely quickly, and it looks like I'm going to be in America mid-December, early January, which is good. I'm going to have to keep earning that money for my future and getting forward, and being a teacher and teaching people about cool things like Caesar and Hannibal and things like that. But that's the situation, and I know a few of you sometimes wonder, you know, what the hell's going on. You know, not what the hell's going on, because you don't care. But I know a few of you have emailed and said, oh well, you know, I'm always curious. You know, you always mention things about your life and you never go into any detail. So I thought, yeah, hey, why not? You know, without names and going into details, and that's what's going on at the moment. So, that's what I'm doing at the moment. So let's do something more fun. So let's just do what we're going to be doing, streaming. I've actually thought of streaming either Mass Effect or Dragon Age, because I simply love the games. I've been thinking about getting back on the horse and streaming some Dragon Age again, or Mass Effect, probably Mass Effect 2. Because it's the best one. So maybe I'll do that in the coming weeks. Maybe, you know, maybe I'll look into that over the weekend. I was going to do Crusader Kings 3, but I'm having such a blast with my own save at the moment. I'm learning a lot about the game. I don't really want to go into the game and have you guys watch me just flail around and sit there reading things, because it's a game in which you can open the game and sit there without moving forward for about an hour or two, just learning and reading and really putting your brain into it. So I want to get to the point where my experience on that game is more fluid. So, and it'll take me about a couple of days. So maybe on Sunday I'll open up a stream and we'll get a Crusader Kings 3 stream going on, just for a bit of fun, so I can say hi to you all. But yeah, I've got that game. We've got Wasteland 3, which I'm not going to stream, but I'm really looking forward to playing. And I've also downloaded Pathfinder Kingmaker 2. So that's going to be my next couple of weeks sewn up, essentially, with in terms of gaming. It's mainly passing time, treading water until Cyberpunk comes out. Let's be honest. But at the moment, you know, life is good. You know, we're chilling out. We're doing well. What else have we got to talk about here? Next couple of weeks. Oh yeah, I've been asked by a few groups now. Two. Well, I say few. Two. To look into a game called Band of Blades, and I was actually contacted by one of the writers of Band of Blades to go over the book, and maybe to do a little thing on my channel about it. I got the book. My lovely wife bought me the book, and then the publishers sent me the book anyway, so I have 2 copies of Band of Blades. Absolutely phenomenal book. As a tabletop role-playing game, Band of Blades is a treasure. It really is. Blades in the Dark, anyway, is fantastic as a game. But Band of Blades is something that I really am getting into at the moment. And so much so that I want to run a campaign in it. Now, if you have never seen Band of Blades, I'm going to put a link in the description of this video to an overview by a really good channel called Dicebreaker, and they take you over basically what Band of Blades is and what it does. Essentially, you play as a ragtag band of mercenaries who are running away from the undead. You're running away from a massive horde, massive army of slavering Lovecraftian monsters who are heading towards you, and it's your job to warn the rest of the kingdoms in the world that this thing is coming. You have to create several characters because they will die. They will die a lot. There will be lots of tragic last stands. There will be lots of tragic sacrifices and moments of bonding throughout the campaign and stuff like that. And it really just struck me as a really cool game and like a really cool set of rules. They're very, very strange. Because if you played D&D before, this is going to be alien to you, because there are weapons don't do damage. Weapons do damage based on what I say they do, so as the GM. So as the GM, somebody will roll their D6s, their D6 pool to hit you. You will roll your D6 pool to block them. Whoever gets the best result does damage, essentially, and that's it. It's that simple. A lot of the rules are very free form, and that took a long time for me to get used to. I'm used to very black and white rules, but a lot of the rules are just like, hey, there's this thing called stress, or there's this thing called trauma, and they do these cool things, and it's all up to you how you use them, and it's very wishy-washy, but I like it that way. There's a lot of fluidity to the actual game itself. So I would love to play that, and I'd love to actually play it on the channel one stage as well. The other campaign that is in the works, the Leviathan in the Dark, is still going on. It's almost finished. I'm just tweaking it. I'm just going through the rules at the moment just to make sure that they're finally balanced. I completed them when I was away for the 5 weeks. I also completed the world guide to the Scorched Earth. That is now complete, and I'm carrying on with the novel that I'm writing as well. So there's a lot of things on the writing side of things that are going on at the moment. I currently have I'm currently, for Band of Blades, I've decided to write a campaign booklet and place it in the Scorched Earth. So, if we ever do a Scorched Earth campaign, I know a lot of you, I say a lot, again, 5 or 6, I've stated a desire to play in the Scorched Earth. And I think Band of Blades would be a really good way of doing that. So if you're interested, we can definitely do that, because I don't need to write rules for the Band of Blades one. I've got the book here. The player rules are downloadable for free online. And I can write a quick synopsis of the rules for anyone who needs them, who needs to know what things do and how things work. So I'm actually designing the world map for the Scorched Earth right now, and I'm writing in my spare time. I'm writing the background setting for the Band of Blades campaign that I want to run. Because everything in Leviathan in the Dark is pretty much done, so I've literally sent that over to my friends to playtest. So I'm waiting for that to come back, and when that comes back, I'll patch it and patch it and patch it, and we'll get it going until it's ready. And now I'm working on this Band of Blades Scorched Earth, and it really is an interesting game. And I really am enjoying working on it too. So we'll carry on with that as the weeks go on. What else have I been up to? Nothing much, actually. Really nothing much. Been 5 weeks of just chilling, exploring my area of the world with my wife-to-be. Yeah, it's been really, really, really cool. I've got nothing really to rant about. I've heard Space Marines have gotten a lot better in Games Workshop. There's another thing. 40k. So yeah. Space Marines have got an extra rune now. That's amazing. That's really, really, really cool. And I think for a lot of people, it's going to make their armies a lot more viable. Especially if you've got like massive armies of Space Marines that some people do. 2 wounds per model is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous for normal Space Marines. And considering the firepower they already have, that's great. And so it actually makes me think about getting more Grey Knights. But yeah, I had a brainwave before of buying the World Eater Marines. The other ones who look like they're charging forward, and have them as my original Marines for the chapter that I've got going, because we are a duelist chapter. So as we've got like loads of swordsmen. Essentially, they're all duelists. They're all bladesmen, and I think it would be really cool to have the original guys be these like 300-year-old axemen with dual axes, just mentalists, you know, and they've got more refined over time, you know. So that'd be like a throwback unit. So I'm thinking about doing that because if they get 2 wounds now, they're going to be really, really, really killy. It's great. One thing I do notice is the disconnect between the lore and the rules. So the lore says that Primaris Marines are such a big leap forward that there's been no point in going back, which is fine. But mechanically, I would actually say, if someone said to me, money is no object, right? I'm going to build a force of Primaris, like the other person's going to build a force of Primaris, and that person said to me, money is no object, go out and buy an army, anything you want, right? No super heavies, but anything you want of normal Space Marines. Let's have a fight. I honestly think the old Marines would wipe the floor with them. They've got too much. They've got too many toys that have been refined for years and years and years. So you got things like grav weapons and things like, you know, all the Terminators that they can have and things like that. If you go purely old Marines against purely Primaris, I think the old Marines would win now with the 2 wounds and the 3 wounds to Terminators. I really do. Absolutely. You can even give the Primaris Guilliman. I don't think it would matter. I honestly don't. You got things like las cannons and plasma cannons and things like that. You got storm ravens. You got land raiders. You got. That's before we even get into the actual Space Marines and the assault Marines and the Vanguard veterans, Stern Guard veterans, the Terminators, the close combat Terminators. It's just insane the amount of stuff they've got. And the only thing that was holding them back on being an absolute powerhouse army on their own was the fact that they only had the 1 wound, and they're quite expensive for having that 1 wound. Personally, I would have kept the 1 wound, and I would have dropped their points drastically. I would have dropped the points needed to pay for a normal Space Marine force by a long way. In fact, I would probably make a Primaris Marine almost half as expensive again as a normal Marine. I think normal Marine army should outnumber Primaris Marine armies, not by quite 2 to 1, but almost like 1.5 to 1. They should outnumber them by. That would make it a lot more balanced, and that's what I would have done. But for what we got, I think it was a lazy solution because they don't need to go in and change the points and actually think about the balance. Because to change the points of units, you'd have to actually go into the game and playtest it and playtest it and playtest it to make sure that what you're doing isn't going to break, you know, old Marines in any way. But I think it is a lazy solution, just giving everyone 1 extra wound and giving to, you know, I think it's a bit lazy. But at the same time, it is a solution that at least we got one. At least we got one. At least the army that you've got in your wardrobe, if you have one, or in your cabinet somewhere of your normal Marines, is now extremely viable. And I'm willing to bet any money that the CGC and all of the big tournaments now will be dominated by old Marines. Everyone's going to be piling on that because everyone's got Marines lying around. They're very easy to build, very easy to paint, and you know what? Let me just have a little look at the prices of these Marines. I'm willing to bet that the prices of the Marines are actually quite low. So let me just go on to. There we go. Wayland Games. I always go to Wayland Games, gets 20% off. I know a few others are as well, but don't really matter anyway. So Space Marines, not old Marines. Let's see how much they are. So old Marines, of course, they're going to front load all of the Primaris stuff. So old Marines, you get a Space Marine Vanguard veteran squad for £23. That's really good, considering your Reavers are 35. You know. Your normal Space Marine squad, 10 Space Marines, £23. Yeah? So, you know, the prices are actually reasonably good. £23 again for an assault squad. That's only 5 Marines, though. And £25 for a close combat assault Terminator squad. Reasonably priced. Compared to what the actual Primaris are. It's only at times like this when I miss working for Games Workshop. Only at times like this when I realise that if I wanted to, there was a time when I made a biker army at GW, and it wasn't for me. It was actually for one of the local hobby clubs, where they wanted a chapter of bikers essentially. So I got together and I got their money and I went and bought I think it was like 20 boxes of Space Marine bike squads. And then I had them go and buy from Forge World a load of White Scar upgrade kits, and we made this massive Mongol horde of bikers. You know, all close combat. We gave them their own rules. We gave them their own mini codex, things like that. It was superb. It was really, really good. And here's the fucked up thing: if Games Workshop found out that I did that, I would be sacked on the spot, because that's technically letting other people take advantage of my discount. But I wasn't prepared to let them just... They had such a cool idea and they were so enthused about it. I had to just help them. I had to just get in there and make sure that they had what they needed. And you know what? They kept coming back to my store, and everything that they ever needed, they made a point of coming to my store to buy stuff. You know? And anyone who didn't, they actually ostracized. Not in a bad way, but they just said, hey, you know, don't go to the fucking store where you get a discount. You've already gotten a 50% discount of all this army that we've got. So, you know, let's go and give this guy some business, sort of a thing. So, I honestly think that if you treat, and I've said this before, if you treat customers right, if you acquiesce to them, if you just say, hey, guys, what do you want to do? I think that's the thing that a lot of people working Games Workshop just don't get. Like, a lot of the time, the customer just wants you to ask, what do you want to do, man? Like what do you want to build? And they'll tell you. It's that simple. Like, you have so much training at Games Workshop over asking the right questions, going over the right bits of information, getting, establishing a rapport with the customer, being nice, and it just turns you into this overly smiley, creepy salesman. That's all it does. And, you know, I was like that for the first few weeks in my store, and then I just broke and stopped. I'm not doing this because, you know, the money's going up, but it's not going up anywhere near what it can do, and then it shot up after I stopped. It was just like, you know, and that's the one question I always ask: what do you want? What do you want to do? What do you think's cool? What do you think's cool? I think Tau are cool. Awesome. What do you like about Tau? Oh, I love the fact they look like Gundam models. Cool. Well, you know, in terms of your army, do you have a centerpiece model? I'm not saying get one now. I'm saying, you know, it's something to plan for the future. Because, oh, I really love the Riptide. Love the way the Riptide looks. Cool. How about we plan around that then? Yeah, give me a piece of paper. So we've got a Riptide here. So what's around the Riptide? So are we protecting the Riptide? What do you want? Do you like Fire Warriors? Do you like the look of them? Or do you like, you know... And you go off from there. And it's that easy. It's that easy to work for Games Workshop, to be honest with you. If they just let you do your job. Which they don't, unfortunately. But, you know, in an ideal world, it would be that easy to go in and say, hey, you know, what do you want? I want this. Then have that. Go and have fun. Go forth and conquer, young man. That sort of thing. The price increases. I'm with everyone on that. A £60 Land Raider is a slap in the face. To be honest, you know, it is an absolute slap in the face. Like it really is. Like you can't go on, you know, upping these prices over the next couple of years because something's got to give. Something's got to give. You know, I know people say it's a hobby. People pay what they want. People will always pay it. I don't agree. I don't agree. I think it will get to a stage where people will say, "Hey, I've got this 3D printer now." Like let's just say that 15 friends all pitch in 25 quid. You've got yourself a fantastic 3D printer that in a couple of years' time, maybe even a year, will be able to produce models up to the standard of Games Workshop. There is a reckoning coming, and you know I don't want there to be. I want Games Workshop to do well. I want them to do good business. I want them to stop telling people how to fucking behave because it's not their place. They're little toy miniatures. But I don't know. I want them to do well. I want them to sell models, but I want them to sell models at a reasonable price. I want them to start valuing the customers more because I valued my customers. I'm still friends with some of my customers. You know, they're a fantastic group of people, and I think that the more you push people away, I mean, for instance, if someone comes into your store and wants to play Middle Earth Blood Bowl, they should just be able to play that. For fuck's sake, we sell Blood Bowl, we sell Middle Earth. All right, I don't sell them in the store, but if I let that person come in and buy in my and play in my store, they will buy in my store because I've got the computer there. I can get it sent to the store. Sorted, you know. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sick of talking about Games Workshop. I'm done with them. But hey, it is what it is, and they're not a changing. I'm afraid, guys, they're not going to change. They're gonna stay the same all the way through, and it's up to you whether you want to support them or not. You know, I would love. It's one of my absolute musts. Is as things calm down with the virus, I would love to get together with some of you, just to throw some dice. Just to throw some dice, have a game of 40k in a nice setting, you know, good terrain, things like that. I can get all that sorted out. It's just, you know, would love to get together with some of you and plan and roll some dice, or even online, if you guys want to do a bit of gaming. I'm always up for that as well. Also, you know, obviously, I know a few of you, 3 of you have signed up to the Leviathan in the Dark campaign. I will be opening up the Band of Blades campaign if I get enough, as I said last time, if I get enough interest for it. The thing is, and what I don't want people to get weird with, is that if Band of Blades does take off, it will probably take place before Leviathan in the Dark, simply because Leviathan in the Dark is a brand new set of rules that I wrote that is getting refined all the time. I don't want to be going into a game with you guys where we're playtesting the rules as we play. That's not fair on you, because a lot of you I've put like £5 towards Patreon, things like that, just to get into the campaign. So I'm not prepared to do that. Like I will get it so it's working just right, and then you guys will play the finished product and you'll have a good time, and all will be right with the world. But with Band of Blades, I think, you know, I'm not even going to do Patreon for that. I'm just going to like say, hey, here's Band of Blades. Come on in, let's roll some dice. And you know what? That might give a few of you almost like a free hit, you know, because you haven't paid for it. It's just a free hit. You come in, you chill out, you throw some dice, you die horribly, you create another character, move on, see if you can save the world from the encroaching darkness of the undead hordes, things like that. So that's essentially all I've got to say for this week. It's great to be back, great to be chilling out with a nice cup of tea. I'm gonna go and have a pint now with a friend of mine, and we're going to discuss Band of Blades among other things. Yeah, cheers for that. Yeah, nice, short and sweet. Nice half an hour. I think I'll start keeping these to around about half an hour. I think that's more of a reasonable thing to do. But aside from that, thank you very, very, very much for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.